Don't see any questions, gonna keep going. Now, here is almost like the crux of this class is corporate credit cards. And what do you do to manage all the different employees who all have their separate credit cards? The first thing that I want to say is in the modern age, this is old school. Things have changed. I'm going to talk about fintech and better solutions, but we got to work with what we got. And so traditionally you would have a company credit card and then you would give subcards to each of the employees. Depending on the bank, they may have the main corporate control card and then the business owner gets the main account and then the employees have like less important accounts. And the way that if they're structured that way is, for example, in this one right here, I have the main corporate card, Bank of America corporate card 1223. And then I have subcards for all of the different employees. And in this one, Lyman is the business owner, and all the payments are going to his account. And so that's the way you know which is the main account on the card is if like Chase does this. Chase will take your payments and not pay off the main level. Chase will pay off one of the cards with your payment. So you got to keep that clean in your head. Now notice that I have all of the employees as subcards and I named it with the 4 digits of their card and who it belongs to. I find that easiest for management. And then notice that I don't connect the main card to the banking feed. I only connect the subcards. That way you have individual feeds for every employee and you can monitor each employee's spending individually. Even though in the banking feed you now have, and let me remind you what that looks like. This is what that looks like in my sample file. So I have this corporate card and then each of the people's names down below it. And so when I click on any one person's card, I can see their specific spending. And so this is now a list just of that one person's credit card transactions. Waiting for it to come up. There we go. So now I know that these all belong to one individual. When you reconcile, instead of reconciling the subcards, you reconcile the main corporate card because you have a statement in your hand that has the grand total for the whole company card and then subsections with breakdowns for each employee with each employee's subtotals. So by reconciling the main account, you've got all the transactions all in one place. That part's the easy part. There's a part that gets really tricky with this. And that is that, and let me actually show it to you by, I'm going to go ahead and run a balance sheet on this account. Okay, so I'm going to run a balance sheet. So when I look at the corporate credit card on the balance sheet here, I can see the main card, and then I see all of the subcards underneath it. But notice that this is like $71,000. If you just do what I've said so far, all of these subcards are going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And you can still see the main balance right here, but you can't see what they spent this month or what the actual balance is on the card. They just continue getting bigger and bigger. So what you do is you zero out every sub card at the end of the month and you transfer the balance on each sub card up to the main corporate card. So essentially it's a transfer from the main card to the sub card because the main card is paying off the sub card. And then that way each card becomes zero at the end of the month and the whole balance is all collected up under the main level. So let me show you what that looks like. So let me go into the register for this account. You can see here that let's just do this up to March. Let's pretend that it's May 2024 and that's where we're reconciling to. When we've done the reconciliation at the end of May, just pretend those are reconciled. It says here 522931. So I'll copy that number and then I will add a transfer on the last day of that statement. and I will, whichever column is the one that makes the number go down is the one that's important. So if I put it, and the reason why I say it that way is because whoever's the main card, the business owner's card, the payment went here. So the numbers are frequently flip-flopped. I'll show you that in action. But basically, I just come in here and then I say I'm going to transfer this balance to the corp card. So I'll save that and then I'll refresh the screen. And then that zeroes out the card until there are more charges. And then I'll go through and I'll do that on all of the subcards. I'll go to the end of that reconciliation, and here's that balance. And again, this one gets a little wonky because of the payments that are made to the card. I made it a little earlier. And so again, I will add a transfer on the date of that statement. And I'll pick whichever column makes it go down, and I'll transfer it to the corp card. And then that makes this one go to zero. And I'll continue doing that to each one of these. 526, 105.32 to the corp card. And then last but not least, the last employee, and that's right there, 353.81, because I'm going just to the end of that bank statement and to the corp card. And so now when I refresh my balance sheet and I look at the corporate cards, I can see now everybody is caught up. They don't have balances, and now here is the whole credit card balance. And so that's the exercise that I do at the end of every reconciliation. Now, when it's time to actually reconcile, like I said, you don't reconcile the sub-accounts, you reconcile just the main account. And let me go grab my reconciliation amount. So I'll take the balance off the statement. Yes, it's a big balance. And then when I do the reconciliation, I'll go in and get all of the funds. I don't know if I put in the right balance or not. I probably didn't. Let's take that one off. Okay, my balance was not quite right. Sample file. Just pretend. Okay, so now I've got my reconciliation to zero. I have this one account, this one transfer right here. I don't know what that is. I'll have to research it because something's wrong right there. But now look, I have these extra transactions. These are the money going in and out from the main card and the corp card. So let me spread this out a little bit. Okay. But you can see here that this is Jamie's card. And so it's moving the money from Jamie's card to the sub card and then Payton's card. And so the money is just going in and out and in and out, equaling zero. So I will go ahead and check those off once I'm done. Now that credit card is completely reconciled. So that's how to reconcile your credit cards. Okay, now JJ is asking, she's got a client who's been putting all the credit card transactions on everyone's card into one register for years, and it's working. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. If the import is working just fine, then go ahead. But if you would like insight into all of the individual people's spending, you can go ahead and change it this way. It's going to add a level of complexity. The reason why I did this is some credit cards you can't import all of the main card. So you do get a decision in the process. In addition to going into each account and doing the individual balances like I did, you could do it this way, where you make one big expense and then you put a line item for each person's total spending according to the statement, and then pay it from the main corporate card. This is another way of moving all of those balances up. And so this one also works fine. Because I'm OCD, I like seeing all the zeros myself. Then, if you're OCD like me and you're looking at your list of all your reconciliation dates, you'll notice that the last reconciliation was just the main card and none of these subcards have ever been reconciled. So you can go in and still just do a $0 reconciliation at the end of the month on each of the sub accounts, just so that you have a list that just shows that everything has been verified. So you can still reconcile the individual subcards to zero. All right.